Excuse me. Hello, welcome to the video. This is a video by request, and it is a request for knee stretches due to some knee pain. I don't have more information to work with in that, so I'm going to do what I call the shotgun approach to problem solving, and I'm going to offer you a wide variety of stretches from a wide variety of pieces of equipment. If you're dealing with knee issues, it's highly possible that getting down to the mat doesn't sound like a good idea to you. So if you are not comfortable with that, don't worry. I will offer you similar stretches on other pieces of equipment. Excuse me. I'm all about people improving their own situation. I'm all about helping yourself get into a better place, taking the power and putting it in your own hands. That being said, I would like to encourage you to be cautious and willing to explore at the same time if you're dealing with knee pain. None of this is actual medical advice. This is just opinions based upon my personal experience. So I'd like to offer you some of my knowledge, and I'd like to offer you context to that, and that is in hopes of you improving your situation. I'm going to start with quad stretches. Quads are the front of your thigh, the big muscles right up here up top. They feed down into your knee. So this may translate to pain underneath the kneecap, underneath the patella, right in the middle, or even other places further down. I'm going to start with a chair, and I'm going to put my foot on top of it. Notice I've put my hand on the wall. This allows me to focus on the stretch and not have to worry about my balance at all, being on one foot. So if you can do this, you can hold your own foot and pull the heel towards the rear end. This form might not be super useful for you, but there are those of us who have knee stiffness, knee flexibility issues, to where placing your foot on an object is going to help you force the stretch. My goal, no matter what kind of quad stretch I do in this short little sub-series, my goal is to close the distance between my rear end and my heel. So that could look like a few different things. For me, I'm comfortable with this, so I can just sit on my foot. If you're not comfortable with it, you could lean back. This has to be relative to you. And think of it like a challenge. Like I say, a lot of things, you want to be applying stress to it. Discomfort's okay within reason. Okay, so you want to feel a stretch sensation. If you've ever touched a hot stove, you know that involuntary reaction. If stretching causes your body to have a spastic or involuntary reaction, that's probably a sign that you need to go get more professional help, and you don't want to do that anymore. But you could start with a low point, the lower part of a chair, or you could find a tabletop or turn the chair around, and you can close the distance between the heel and the glute. That's the main thing. Okay, if you're really comfortable with doing that, you can also tighten up your rear end and lean your head back and push the knee. You're not seeing the movement, but I'm intending to push the knee down and backwards. This is going to increase the stretch in this area. So when you're cautious, if you're dealing with knee pain, discomfort's all right. If it becomes a little overwhelming, a good strategy is stretching to the point of discomfort, feeling it, staying there for as long as you can, backing off, repeating. Find that point of discomfort, back off, repeat. If you do this for a few minutes, even a minute, 2 minutes, and then you walk around and then you repeat, if it feels more comfortable and if it feels less painful, this might be benefiting you. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple stretches from the bench. And I'm going to take the time to show you a hamstring and a quad stretch here. So the foot that's back is going to be the quad stretch. The foot that's forward, the leg that's forward, that's a hamstring stretch. So if I lean back, I'm not actually closing the distance between my heel and my glute, but I'm getting into a similar posture. You're going to feel the stretch run down through your thigh and through your knee. Now, if I were to lean forward with a relatively straight leg and lower my head, I'm going to feel the back of my thigh, the hamstrings, and this feeds down into your knee. So this is another good stretch to do. If my head is forward, it's going to be, you're going to feel the leg on top. If your head is back, you're going to feel the leg on bottom. You want to get this bottom leg as far back as you can, and you don't want to curl your toes under. You want to keep them pointed back. So hamstring and quad. Couple options there. A higher pressure quad stretch. Laying down, getting a hold of your feet and pulling them both back as far as you can. You're going to get both at once. And a couple choices, kneeling. I could kneel, toes back, and I lean back and tighten up my rear end. Now this is actually going to work on stretch and strength because your quads have to work here when you lean back. If I wanted to be a little bit more passive and make it a stretch, I'm going to try to sit down on my heels. And again, have that sense of relativity. How far back can you sit without it being overloading, without experiencing too much discomfort, and you don't want to feel sharp pain? Okay, those are a few quad options. I showed you a hamstring option. I'll show you a couple more. Okay, anywhere you can sit and straighten out your knees is a great place to be. So you could do that on the bench. You could do it on the floor. You could do it on your bed, maybe a couch. And more of a warm-up, a gentler version of this would be to have relatively straight legs. This might be the straightest your legs get. That's a sign that the back, the calves, and the hammies are pretty tight. So try to get them as straight as you can and just start pumping the knees. Try to get the knees to touch the floor, touch the couch. You're trying to get the legs to straighten out. And at the same time, squeeze the muscles. I'm in the low position. I squeeze the thigh muscles. Okay, you can add to this by tucking the toes back. This is going to make it even stronger. Okay, this is if you can't straighten your knees out. If you can straighten your knees out, then tuck your toes back and rock your head forward at the lowest, most forward position that you can. And on all of these, they require time. Stretching requires time in the stretch. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it's all good. I like stretching that has movement involved with it because that's going to encourage more blood flow. When muscles contract, it creates demand for blood from your heart, right? So if you're holding something and you're not contracting and you're really relaxed, you're not going to get the warming effects of blood flow to the same degree as if you're contracting muscles. It's going to encourage blood to keep going through there. It's going to heat the area up better, especially if you've got limited circulation in that area or you're working with cold muscle. Okay, you can do this one on the wall, but I'm going to show you on the bench. So I'm right here, and I could put my hands on the wall alternatively, but you're not going to see it from the right angle here. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple more hamstring ones. I'm just going to lift one heel as high as I can, and then lift the other one. I'm trying to keep the straightest leg I can. Now this is actually working the glute and the hip joint, but keeping a straight leg is going to stretch the hamstrings anyway. Okay, so this, you'll feel run down the back of your legs from the top. If I work the knees where I bend them and let them come forward, and then I straighten them out, this is going to be more direct on the back of the knees. And if I want to enhance it, as I straighten out the knees, lift the toes. It's going to hit the calves harder, which is below the knee. Again, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Your sign for doing it is, am I feeling this? Is this highly stimulating for me? If it's highly stimulating for you, that means you probably should be doing it. Your body's responding to it. Okay, so we got the quads, we got the hamstrings, got a little bit of calves. I'll revisit those in a minute. I want to hit the glutes and outer thighs now. A lot of people don't realize their IT bands are super tight and it pulls their knees outward because this area has a lot more tightness than the inner thigh does. So we want to loosen it up. Okay. You know what? I'm going to show you this for the chair first. Let's start from the floor. Okay, so imagine this chair's in front of me or the wall's in front of me. I'm going to cross one foot in front of the other. And I'm going to keep a little slack in this front knee. I'm going to keep them soft, keep them bent. And then I'm going to lower my head. Okay, this should run up the side of my leg. Now, if I want to intensify it, I take this front ankle and I try to bring it up the leg. So I could be a little higher or a lot higher. I lower my head, I push my tailbone back. And you can add movement by twisting or pumping the other knee or head low, head high. This is an experiment. Try different things. Figure out what feels the best for you. And that's probably going to be doing the most for you. So that's a figure 4. Here's a forced figure 4. If you can get your foot on the bench, I'm going to cross in front. I don't want, if I'm dealing with mobility stuff, I don't want my foot in front of my midline. I want it to pass my body. It's going to be easier on my knee, easier on my hip. So I pass here. If I can, I get my hands down to the bench. If I can't do that, it's best to be near a wall, or maybe you could just do this. And just like the other stretch, I push my butt back and I lower my head. Extra movement right here. And the difference between this and the standing one is you don't have to hold that ankle up. If you got super tight IT band, super tight outer thighs, super tight hips, this will hold it in place for you. You're not going to be working as hard. You can hold it for longer. It won't be as fatiguing. And a floor version. Hands and knees. I'm going to take, so I had my left leg in front. The other 2 times I'm going to do that again. I'm going to take my right knee and back and try to cross my legs and get it to the floor. Okay, you're going to feel it boom right through here. Glute and outer thigh. How do I make this more intense? Head lower, head lower. Adding hip movement's good. You could do the head movement here like that. Something that encourages more blood flow and circulation. Movement's good. So there's your outer thighs and your glutes. That's your hips feeding down into the knee. I need to show you some inner thigh stretches. Okay, the most accessible one is going to be standing. They usually are. Okay, I'm going to show you from back here because it's just easier. I want to walk my feet out as far as I can, point my toes out. I want to shift all my weight over one foot. Notice this knee bends. Shift all my weight over the other foot. I want to have almost the widest position I can while still able to move side to side. Okay, how do I make this tougher? Come down lower, walk my feet wider, focus on going as wide as I can. You're gonna feel the hips, but you're also gonna feel the inner thighs pull. Alternatively, if I get my elbows inside of my knees and try to get my hands low, I can push out and I can drop my tailbone. This one's quite a bit tougher position to get into though. Okay, this is gonna be a deeper position. You're gonna feel other things working, but it'll hit those inner thighs. You have to push out on the knees. And one from the mat, one at a time. I'm gonna kickstand with one foot, and then get that foot as far away from me as I can. I'm resting on my instep, and then I'm sinking as deep as I can. Rocking forward and back is a great movement to add to it because it's going to change the angle. Okay, and I have two more things to show you, and they're pretty straightforward, pretty simple. We got your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, your outer thighs, your inner thighs. Let's focus on calves and seated, tucking the toes back with head forward, with head forward. So I just rock forward and back. Anytime you pull your toes back, you're gonna have a calf stretch. So if I have an object I can step on that elevates my toes, this does it without me working. Okay, now I can lower my head, bring my head closer to my shins and my knees, and I'm gonna feel those calves. Okay, this is where the knee pump works. Okay, movement, movement, movement. And think the same thing on a wall, right? I could put one foot forward on the wall and one foot back. I want all my toes pointed. I don't know if you can see it from here. My toes are on the wall, my heel is on the floor. It's holding it in place. I bend the knee, I straighten the knee. And this one I call the quad neutralizer or the knee neutralizer. I'm just gonna stand here as neutral as I can, and I'm gonna tighten up and squeeze my quads in my rear end. And I'm gonna count to 30. This pushes everything into where it's supposed to naturally be. So if you got some instability, this is gonna put your kneecaps where they need to go. Just tighten everything up, stand still, build tension, and relax. There are a few ideas for you. I hope you find this helpful. That's not an exclusive list, but I'm sure this video is already pretty long as it is. If you like any of those stretches, if you found them helpful, if you want to see more stretches like this, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you again. Have a wonderful day.